off. After a little bit of a break, team's going to talk a little bit longer, maybe a little more prep time for this one, as PCs were indeed fixed. Playing path as fair as can be. But again, Xenox, we know what usually happens. The fairer the playing path, the worse the initial circle. So curious to see where that one will take us. Have to say though, as I said coming into the game here, even though the circles weren't all that bad last game, yeah, I feel like the players still on their own managed to bring the chaos. What do you say?
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, look, we did obviously have a sort of farm circle that then moved away from farm. That does kind of create some chaos. It's a rather open area to the west of farm. So I think, yeah, in some ways, I know it's a central kind of circle, but it's still an area that's going to entice that chaos. And I did keep an eye on Argentina, of course, being Australian. I was like, please make sure Silson does not make his way into shelter once again. Imagine Monty this game. He's just going to be checking left and right.
He's going to be very, like, you see Fex kind of flying in the area, and now him going, no, he's here again, guys, come help me. But as a matter of fact, actually, Flood is flying down towards shelter, so maybe it's going to be a, you know, let's do this one together, guys. There's no reason to risk it. Because, I mean, question for you, Xenox, what is worse? If you're on camera, I mean, because obviously Monty knows well.
Oh my!
I'm not gonna say that. Yeah,
filthy.
Good plane paths.
Now I said in the green room.
Prep circles.
Before I think this one was going to be a Gatka field, and boy, am I wrong. Maybe speaking to Paper Thin, he just kind of rubbed his magic off onto me because this is a Paper Thin circle.
You know what will make this even worse? If we hard shift no.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something that we don't see all too often.
That would be very, very
I would be surprised. I don't think that's going to be...
Teddy is the one to go out hard-hitting for Indonesia. Play around it. Yeah. Utilize.
Give him the sawed-off shotgun.
Give him, whenever you find a sawed-off, give it to Teddy. I mean, honestly, that's the playstyle that many teams utilize. And maybe that's the way that Indonesia should do things too.
Obviously, we saw the United Kingdom, now Brazil, our leaders on the leaderboard, so close to each other. Milta Power, of course, and with this kind of circle, you almost have to assume Brazil's going to get some points from this game.
I mean, speaking of how up-and-coming and impressive these guys are, Haven currently sits 3rd overall in damage. He was ranked 67 overall in power rankings coming into this. He hasn't had those flashy performances at all coming into this tournament, and now he's here on LAN, a young guy fracking out of his mind and delivering. Every single time we see Brazil farewell, Haven is the one. They split him off. They keep him as the container on the side. More often than not, he sits in. They wanted to go down there again, but right now, I mean, you guys see it if you're watching the map stream as well, Brazil is sitting in a 2-2 split and have just now denied, because UK sent it instantly to that compound, but they're sitting there ready and waiting. In the meantime, let's see here. Vietnam, well, they're going to hear Argentina, but no shots fired.
Yeah, and no need to really fire shots there when there's not even any vision onto Argentina. I think Vietnam are just happy for them to drive by and play really the cliffs down south of Mini Milta Power anyway. With this kind of circle, it could bode well, but it also could be a disaster if it shifts. And a lot of teams now rotating early with this kind of circle. Of course, you would expect that. VHC spotting Argentina. Talk about rivalry between these two nations. And of course, for VHC, already on 1 kill. Fisher, beautifully well placed from LFB1, and he finds the kill.
This is absolutely huge for them. Argentina is pushing in 4v2 here, but they are managing to fend off. First knock came through. Now Argentina struggling, and Sparking and Haven are coming down to help. So LFP and VHC, they've held off for long enough for the cavalry to arrive. Now it's a 4v2. Make that a 4v1 in favor of Brazil, who are making Argentina look like fools for having pushed this to begin with.
Is that going to be a massive nade, though, from Fisher? I don't think Sparking realizes. No, he does. He's actually outside. That's fine. They didn't actually over-aggress and push onto it. This is really well played from Brazil. Not overplaying their hand, not rushing in straight away, looking to just try and get these kills as quick as possible. They're playing safe. The smokes are up, so don't push in.
Phenomenal play from Brazil. No risk here at all. Are they gonna nade? Nope. They tried to molly themselves. They saw the nade come through. Not gonna happen. Sparking a little bit of friendly damage in that one. Not gonna matter in the end. This, while it did grant them 4 kills, it did cost them Mini Milta, though they had to commit to it. They knew they were going to get pulled up on. They commit down south, they go down, they clear Gemty compound, as we like to call it, at least in Europe. But Flood, in the meantime, took over Mini Milta. Smart play by Australia, realizing that they were leaving and committing to it. Now, Australia, very, very solid two-way split for them.
Yeah, that 2-2 split for Australia, and somewhat close by, and should be able to help each other out if needed as well. But for Brazil, getting the 4 kills. Absolutely
Oh, yeah.
vital,
Oh, yeah.
especially early on. Still, good spot inside of the circle. So I would much rather be in Brazil's position with the way things have started.
And not only finding 4, but taking 0 casualties themselves. They were fending off 2v4, and for VHC to get that very first knock pretty much instantly as they came to the compound, huge blow got on towards Argentina. They barely even got out of their cars before one of them were down, making the fight much more doable for Brazil, who will obviously, at this point, as we've seen throughout the entire tournament, are just playing on a whole different level.
Thailand just wanting to maybe renew pleasantries over towards farm as they had in the last game, but we'll need, of course, to move away from that position. You would have to expect. Now, there was the knock onto Sparking, but, you know, close the door, you're fine, they'll get the revive. T-Bone keeping an eye on them. The good news here for the United Kingdom, it's full confirmation of Brazil inside of that building, so they will be able to utilize that information moving forward for the rest of the game.
And remember, when we talked about it just before, Brazil beat UK to that compound. UK won the game in this area of the map off of playing this compound early game. So I'm kind of curious now, although, I mean, the United Kingdom, they are sitting in a good two-way split, so might not want to risk it, but how much it's going to take for them to make a play. Let's see now. Escalucia pulls up close, fortunately for him, Saga opting to leave.
Yeah, and Nurens was sort of just watching the right side of that yellow, making sure there was no one up close that was maybe going to try and aggress on them. Of course, no one actually there. Chinese Taipei now on the move, going through Indonesia. Not really the best of angles unless your kid X who gets Malrush. That was clean with the Scar Owl. Leo tries to fight back. He actually almost gets the flush. He'll get it now. He'll confirm it onto Malrush. Indonesia will take that elimination, pushes them to 40 points. Now, let's see, Toby, where this circle's going to push for us going into phase number 2. Is it up north? No, it just goes south. Novo's still in, by the way.
How much water could you have in phase 2? I think this is going to be maximum. There's no way you could have had more water in phase 2. I mean, to be honest, we're not excluding all that much terrain that was being fought for, because the majority down towards mini power was already going to be taken. But every split you had now, don't go for it any longer, because teams are coming. You can see it here. There's a full migration down south.
Well, I'm looking at Australia, and I'm questioning what you just sort of mentioned. Do they want to group up early phase 2?
They should.
Well, you say they should, but a lot of teams that go for 2-2 splits would never really group up this early on. There's still a lot of position to be gained by holding the 2 players on either side, going into phase 3, phase 4. So they'll hold it and expect themselves to be able to defend each other from their 2 locations.
There is a race to the southern compound between Finland and Turkey. Turkey, though, opted to wrap a bit further west, and I think that allows for Finland to beat them too. It's Xavier now. Finds RDK, so they lose 1 to Indonesia, but instantly finds 1 in return. Yan Li now, Teddy, down as well. Indonesia, they look good out towards the west, up towards farm, but they're in trouble. Xavier, tagged in return, goes down to blue phase 2. Not the most damage, but enough to find it up.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe the Indonesia just push it to the blue there and get that kill onto Xavier, because they know he's there. Probably not worth their time, though, all things considered. Leo going for a very difficult spray on Kid X to get the seed swap. Looking for Yan Li. I think Yan Li's winning. No, Kid X able to finish off, get that knock. So it's only Leo that's left alive now for Chinese Taipei, but China making their way in from farm, pushing in above Indonesia.
China know their beat to the circle. Everyone else has already sent it, and when they hear the action happening out west, they go, you know what? Let's see if we can find something free. And look at this. I mean, they are crawling around, just waiting to be stolen. Ike's left, shooting towards Leo. Doesn't quite find it. Xiaopian does manage to get the flush on to 1, so 1 confirmed. For them already, 1 more tag could do it, but no. Ike's left can't find it.
He landed that first tag, and I thought for a second we were going to be seeing a classic. But Leo survives inside of farm for the time being. Minute and 15 seconds, by the way, until phase 3. And of course, the water doesn't have to be taken out in phase 3, but usually it does kind of do the job for phase 4 anyway. We'll see if that trend kind of continues here. For China, they don't get a whole lot from this, and also time wasted, and they're not going to get a good position pushing into this circle. So I do wonder what the future of this game is going to look for China.
They probably weren't going to get a good position regardless. I mean, we have the hindsight on the overall view. Ike's left, finds Teddy. He just got up on his feet. Now he goes down again. Kiddix, are you going to commit to the rest? It might cost you your life. Tagged once. Ike's left knows exactly where they are. Kiddix and Teddy, how the hell do you get out of here alive?
Yeah, it's going to be very. Do still have Nile up above as well as another teammate. Onyx, he goes down. To be fair, they were very up far north towards that lumberyard. Now they push it towards Vietnam. Germany has sights on them as well. You can see the shots now with pain flowing onto them. So they've already lost 3. I think you'll be pretty happy with the way that ends up for them. Lash K,
The two-wheel US not exactly
Circle.
the easiest in them.
Brazil have the absolute god spot. Not
Yeah.
Brazil are in pole position right now. Lash K does get finished off. So for Korea, that rotation meant it cost them 2 players in the end. But they do have position on the cliff for the long run. Now Monty with the elimination of Shimboy in 1-for-1 here between Canada and Australia. Adam though falls to sharp shot, so they're down to 2 players and they've got the outside of them.
Exactly, Monty doing everything he could to fend off, but unfortunately a little bit too much for him. Not in a position where they could regroup fast enough. As we saw before, still players out in Mini Milta, not really with an angle to help. Japan now full speed forward, coming down south as well, but they're going to be running straight into Turkey.
And this is probably the kind of game, if you're Australia, if you're Canada, and honestly even the United States over towards sort of the lumberyard position, you're wondering how has this gone so far south and screwed us over. Leo falls to Zhao Pian, of course, now for China, absolutely nowhere near this next circle, by the way, and they've got to get moving. Minute 40 till phase 4, the blue on the move, it will envelop all of USA. It's got to start coming down towards China, now on the move. It's Galusha. Big knock onto Ming Ming.
Okay, solid distance on that one too. Nuran's there to find the flush as the crowd goes wild. Thailand holding off China. Do not want to allow them into this one. And honestly, they have to, because they need to focus inward. They need to get going. They need to find out how do we approach this ourselves, but they cannot look inward before they've dealt with the threat from behind.
Yeah, and the closer that China sort of get into Milta, it'll make it more difficult to get these shots to land, but they get the shot onto Aix left, now onto the road. Zhao Pian's going to go for the revive. It's safe, but it's inside of the blue, so of course taking some damage here and buying time to maybe see if China can push into Milta and through it out the other side towards where Germany and Thailand are located.
With everything that's happened, how are Indonesia still 4 alive? And how are they still driving the way that they are? They have been through chaos, and more chaos, and somehow they have made almost center current circle and what most likely will be in on the edge of the next one. 4 alive on the edge. Very, very impressive play by Indonesia.
But even for China still, I mean, they've only lost the 1 player, despite being stuck in the blue, coming in very late, getting shot at by Thailand, as we see Tiggleton having a bit of an accident there. He'll get revived by Flood, although getting shot at. That will, I think, force out a smoke and maybe still get the safe res, unless Japan start hitting these really, really difficult shots. They should be okay inside of the circle, and having some help come from Luke 12 will be vital.
Oh, Janko, well, he's been hitting headshots with the DMRs all day, all tournament.
So Brazil, Finland should get this circle.
They should be, As expected, with phase 4 shifting away from the water. Seoul finds Neil, so finally Indonesia, despite having fought for everything they could, will take casualties. And you can see, I mean, Thailand, again, not aggressing, not pushing out to take the fight. Now they might just consider it. As a matter of fact, no, they won't. They're hopping itself. They know they don't have far to go, but go inside the no-loot. Play from inside the circle. Sit tight. Don't risk fighting the blue. You can see Germany actually wanting to cross over in this direction as well.
Oh, okay, this is a really good spot for Thailand. It's inside the phase 4 circle, yeah, and they get in front of Germany as well. Could find some kills from it. Japan, they send it straight onto the compound of Finland, who are controlling this. Corexi has a nade in hand. I don't know if he threw it out just yet. They go past that. Nuran and Galusha for Thailand. Find a quick double knockdown onto Azza and Pains, as there's a little bit of pain there as well for Japan. Shiva running over Keen, and Haven quickly gets the kill for Brazil.
Japan in trouble as they try and make landfall inside the warehouse, taking a lot of damage their way. Is that a nade? No smoke thrown forward, so they are all right for now, but Runa wants to get his teammates back on the feet. Fortunately, no threat up close, and I don't think anyone is within nade distance either, because they are sitting scary close to one another.
There's a lot of teams that are just sort of hanging on out towards the western side of this circle, on the outskirts of Milta. China, of course, still have 3 players intact. Germany, of course, they're getting these revives as well, so it's not going to be all that easy for Thailand, despite really causing some pain to China, causing some pain to Germany. They haven't quite been able to capitalize here. Germany might be able to get these revives. I'm not too sure just yet exactly where they're located. Maybe not. Janku, though, can he land these? With a bit of help from Norans, they get the down to Zhao Pian.
Solid tag coming through, and not only are they applying pressure to China, but they're forcing China into Germany. They're making it so much easier for themselves. close off the beach, forced up towards the roadside. They're going to be backfilling on Germany. So Germany is going to be fought on two sides. I'm just looking to Thailand. Fights, you have to make the aggressive play. And now it happens. Fights coming in, damage done both ways. Thailand, where are you to strike on this?
And Zoka stole the knockdown as well onto Xiao Pian, stealing that one away from Thailand. And Norrens founding them the knock as well. Aix left the last one alive. He'll rush in. He goes for the... What? No one's responding. Easy kill in the end. Micah just honestly caught a napping. He could have got off the res and got that kill. Doesn't happen. And now Germany are gone. 12 teams remain, 40 players alive at the 19-minute mark of an Erangel game.
Absolutely insane. I mean, these 3 Wrangles today, that's... we're killing people at the speed of Sanok matches. I mean, that's it's absolutely insane. Thailand now waiting, of course, to see that next circle. They know that they still have one more Chinese player to deal with. Of course, can't focus too hard inward before he's down. Damage coming through once again. Norrens, I mean, no one allowed to peek in his direction without damage being done. Very, very well done.
This next circle, though, so important for a couple of teams. Do Finland get a bit of a feed? I think they'll need it. Otherwise, if Brazil, wow, maybe neither of them away from Finland, that compound's now no longer good. And for Brazil, they're not going to get phase 6 or 7 unless it's an absolute hard feed. So I'm imagining that that compound's no longer good. What I am liking, though, Indonesia's position, Korea's position, and Vietnam's compound.
Look at this. I mean, they're driving through it now. There's going to be so much unplayable terrain by the end of this one. USA trying to make their way forward. Once again, vehicles really troublesome for players, and USA can barely even make landfall before they're taken out.
Yeah, they cannot get inside that Wizzy Tower. Aix left a couple of nades, has 3 in his back pocket, throws out one towards Chengdu.
Is USA going to go for it too? I mean, they just killed all of them. They know that there's no one in there now. They're in cars as well. I think they might just go for the same position. Let's see Aix left. Out in the blue trying to make a run forward.
United Kingdom on the move, but not all of them. Just the duo of Vard and Vex into the Wizzy Tower. Hayasaki can't land enough tags, and they do get inside of it. But 2 Molotovs for Hayasaki and a nade. Surely this will be the demise of both of these 2 UK players. Stuck inside of the Wizzy Tower. Duckmai with 1 Molotov, and he'll get both of them. Norrens finds the kill onto Aix left. Thailand take out China.
Crucial for Thailand to finally get that kill, because they, with the blue coming in, they need to focus inward. They need to decide, do we take the fight to Vietnam and the compound, or do we push the shoreline down south towards Indonesia and Korea?
Australia's wrapping onto the 2 remaining players of the United Kingdom, brothers in arms, but right now enemies. T-Bone gets both Luke and Flood. It's only Tiggleton left, and Haven knocks him out. Australia on the ropes here at the PUBG Nations Cup, down into 7th. They cannot catch a trick.
Australia expecting UK to look towards their fallen teammates, thought they were going to play the other side of the building, but T-Bone on the ridgeline, ready and waiting for a potential Australia push. It's not what they thought would happen.
That was a 3-on-2. Big result for the United Kingdom in a game where they're maybe not going to get as much as they would hope for. Now to 5 kills, still holding top spot. But Brazil have 6 kills, 9 points behind that #1 position. But they will have to probably move for phase 6 unless they get an absolute hard feed. And speaking of moving, here come Turkey.
Full speed forward they go. They know there's only going to be so much to play around. They got to get up on the hillside. Even though they're going to be envisioned from a lot of opponents, they have to make the play up here before either Japan or Finland goes for it themselves.
Yeah, and Thailand just getting a little bit of pain trying to get out of their position. Where do they go? They have to maybe go straight on to Vietnam. Speaking of fighting, though, it's Finland and Japan. No kills for Finland this game, but they've got 4 alive, and I don't sense Shiva is going to be able to survive this Molotov. In fact, they are just gone in a blink of an eye. Finland find a couple of kills. They get rid of Japan. 8 teams remain.
Clean sweep from Finland. Now hopping over to Loki. Finds one, but damage done in return. Has jumped down into cover. They are only 2 alive, so for Turkey, the faster they deal with Korea, or at least force them all the way down to the rocks themselves, the better off they are. Issue is Mexi now with Finland being done fighting Japan. Aside to fend off, and look at the circle. We are headed straight back towards the roadside. There is going to be no cover in the open. Rocks, no one of them there. Smokes, cars, all you're going to be able to play around.
And our 2 top teams, United Kingdom, Brazil, get a reprieve with that circle shift over towards the northeast. It keeps Michael and T-Bone alive and in the circle. Same with Brazil as well. Nade is perfect from Seoul. It hits the soul of Lyron. He is down. The duo of Korea could cause some serious pain here to Turkey.
Eski trying to hold off, knowing that Finland is going to be coming in, but Loki finds the second as well. How much do you commit to it, though? Because you have them on the other side. Mexi from the vehicle trying to find the flush.
It's a clap.
They know they're low, and they take them down. Finland, Korea, working together, and Turkey out in 8th.
Yeah, they were working together, now no longer. I think Finland want to find the last 2 players of Korea, get those kills ticking over for Finland, now up to 5 kills, still keeping in touch with the top 2 teams, and as Kalusia gets the crowd excited,
Thailand could play a massive factor in this Korea-Finland battle about to happen. Issue is Vietnam from inside the compound also has a say in it, as Kalusia will fall, but Norrens able to get the flush guaranteed, so points going in the way of Thailand. But look at this now, Thailand are making their way down here, and they are well aware of it on the Korea side. Issue is Korea has opponents on both fronts.
Oh, Loki dropped in time, but he got back up, and Maxi sits him back down very quickly. Vietnam now starting to make the push onto Thailand. Of course, Korea close by, same with Finland over towards the cliffs, but this area not inside of the next circle. So while they're fighting, they will have to then start moving. Sol, the last player alive for Korea, has a wonderful eye, not just on Thailand, but even glories of Vietnam.
Thailand is in a terrible position here. You can see it as soon as they've thrown down to get in cover from Vietnam, they're going to be shot in the back by Finland. This is easy pickings for the Finns up on the hillside. Sol even down below, able to find some damage and some kills of his own, trying to see what he can find here. Belmoth, solo player left alive. 5 kills for the team, 7 replacement points guaranteed as well, but Thailand obviously would have wanted some more out of this one.
And Belmoth, though, is able to stay alive as the solo. I think, though, Vietnam well and truly aware of his position. Same with Sol. Another nade thrown in his direction, landed perfectly. Korea racking up some kills from an unwinnable position. They're now up to 5 kills into the top 6. It's been a tremendous job from what was a duo, now a solo for Sol. But honestly, Toby, it's the top 3 that continue to just dominate this tournament.
Where does Finland go from here? They know they have Brazil in the compound still. They know they have UK up top. But where do we set up shop? You just go 1 cross forward. You already have Indonesia ready and waiting. Maybe you shouldn't even be fighting this, but here comes Teddy. Fights the first one. Thought they were going to go further. That nade could be absolutely perfect. It's slapped on board. Kidex with the closer. Finds the second. One more down. And just like that, Indonesia takes out Finland.
It's Apex time to rise. Indonesia, the duo, able to get rid of Finland, and they are looking strong with 5 kills now, and the circle onto Vietnam. But Brazil and the UK still have maybe something to say in this game, but 7 kills now for Vietnam, and honestly, best position. This is their chance to find victory at the Pubg Nations Cup.
Saki jumps for info, instantly met by bullets. Here comes Brazil, 4 in a car. We've seen this go wrong so many times. In the end, the downfall will come to Indonesia. 3 teams left alive. Brazil allowed to wrap forward. Now they're going to spread out. They have not been engaged on at all. Plenty of utility, plenty of S. They are set for this endgame.
Vietnam cracked triple digits into the top 4 and still keeping in touch with the UK and Brazil, but they will want to win this game.
What?
Oh, T-Bone headshots Michael.
What?
Not sure what happened there. Of course, these 2 for the UK in an awful position. They have been, honestly, for the last couple of phases, and yet they've still been able to just scrap some points that they desperately need.
There might, okay, so this, they rest each other, not intentional. I was just going to say there might just be a point denial. There might just be a point denial, but no, they're going into the car. They're making a move forward because they know they're fighting on the other side.
Okay, but that was a massive knock, then flush as well for Brazil. They have the numbers. They're pushing. Duckmay as well is also worried about the UK. So Vietnam not only lost a player, but they're now split. And Clores is the anchor on the south side, having to deal with Brazil. Brazil, honestly, in the best position now.
Clarence was the saving grace for Brazil previously, but now he could potentially be their reckoning. Let's see what's going to happen. Nade lob done forward, damage done on both sides. Clarence is in trouble, though. He's on his own. Does manage to find LFP1 before he goes down, though.
I think Sabao has to push this, kind of watching. If he's got any nades, he'll need to throw them now. He has none, only 2 Molotovs, a little bit low on health, and I think maybe better to just group up with Duckmai and see what they can do from here. But full credit to Brazil. They pushed all the way from the compound out to the east, pushed onto Vietnam, got the knock, then the flush, and they've used their numbers in strength to tip this game. I think they're going to win it.
The timing for United Kingdom to make that play right as Vietnam lost the player, absolutely phenomenal. Again, as you're saying, while they might not go out and win the game, they got themselves better placement, and if they can find a flush, maybe something here, it should be gold. But as you're saying too, I mean, Vietnam in a position from where, I mean, they're not going to be seen by Brazil, at least not initially, but as you're saying too, Brazil, this has got
I think they want to, I think the UK want to deny, but if they deny too early, they go in third.
No.
You've just got to deny. You have to deny this, T-Bone, please. Yes, he crawls back, and they both deny points from Brazil. That's the big one, maybe less so to Vietnam, who now get into second place. It's a 4 versus 2.
4v2. This has got Brazil written all over it, but damage comes through. Not enough, though. He needed one, potentially two. Not going to happen. So power falls down. Imcot alone inside, on the backside, I should say, of the Wizard Tower. 4v2. Brazil, you know what? Not in a hurry. Get healed on up. Get ready. LFP pushes on forward. Wants to get the kill. Flash is locked on him as well. They spot him. Haven down slow HP, but it's not going to matter. Once again, Brazil come out victorious.
0 points for match 1.